I want you to develop a product that sells itself. That you don't have to do a lot of marketing for that you don't have to do a lot of sales. How many of you would like that your product will sell itself, that you don't have to do any marketing? How many of you think that it should have happened already, right? Your product is so good, it should have sold itself. For how many people that doesn't work so well? All right. So that's a good idea. That's a nice dream. It exists in some countries. One country I know in the world that you can do that. It's called La La Land. So, however, if you will put the energy and the focus and your intelligence, your gray cells to work for you when you develop a new product, you can make it much more attractive to people. There are products that are selling themselves. We call those products remarkable products. Okay, remarkable products. And unfortunately, nobody is teaching that. Remarkable product. How do you create a product that sells itself? Now, please don't take it all the way. It's not going to sit on the table and people will go around and say, I want that, unless it's an iPad or an iPhone or anything that Steve Jobs touched. Okay? So those are one of those products that, you know, you just sit and you say, I want it. Some people, I don't, but many people do. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? But most of the products are not like that. You will still have to do some work. But remarkable, also in Dutch, by the way, means that people remark on it. That's what it means, remarkable. People remark on it, which means people talk about it. Would you like people to talk about your product? Would you like people to talk about it? Yes. Would you like people to talk a lot about your product? Yes. Somebody came to me in the break. I always ask the new people, how did you come to us? And he says, everybody around me is talking about the Business Bootcamp. I said, that's good. That becomes remarkable. How many of you heard about the Business Bootcamp from more than one person? Look around. Okay? People start talking about it. How many of you are going to talk about the Business Bootcamp? That's after today. Tomorrow you'll be in the sky. All right. But let's not talk about the Business Bootcamp. Let's talk about some products you know. Okay? Each and every one of you had the experience before, 1 time, 10 times, 100 times, I don't care, that you had a product or a service, can be a restaurant, a movie, a book that you read, an iPhone, I don't care what. A product that you had and that you were so happy with that, it was so impressive for you that you had to tell all your friends about it. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? A restaurant, a movie, iPhone, whatever? What I want you to do now is to write down one of those products. One of those products or services, something that was so impressive for you that you needed to tell everybody else. That's a remarkable product. Just write it down for a moment. We talked about motorbikes a lot, right? So which one is a remarkable motorbike? Right? You like it, you don't like it, you don't like motorbikes, you do like motorbikes. Harley Davidson is a remarkable product. Would you agree? Yes. How many of you are not into motorbikes at all? Wonderful. How many of you could recognize a Harley by looking at it from far away? Right. How many of you will recognize the Harley without even seeing it, just by hearing it? And those are people that don't give a fuck about motorbikes. That's amazing how remarkable the product is. Now, you might think that the sound of the Harley is kind of a mistake. You know, this is the metal that goes there. This is engineered into the product to create a certain feeling and a certain experience. I find it noisy. Most people that are okay, sorry. I just said noisy, I didn't say bad. He's upset. But it's just a noisy motorbike. You know, it might be great. I didn't drive it yet. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. But it's very noisy compared to other motorbikes. But that's the experience that this motorbike gives. It's not just that. It's the way you sit on it, right? You're not sitting normally like a normal motorbike. You're on a... It's totally different experience that they created that. Listen, Harley is so remarkable that it's probably one of the only companies in the world, the only brands in the world, that their clients will make a tattoo of their logo. Can you imagine that? I'm waiting for the moment that somebody will tattoo that and come to me and says, I'm an open circles guy. But with Harley, there's so many of them that are doing it. Now you might say, Harley people, you know, they are a little bit like that. Harley people are paying the highest price for a motorbike. They are good clients. They are really good clients. A remarkable product Okay, they don't need to do a lot of advertisement. They just don't need to. Let's take it to another place. Let's take it to cars. How many of you know the Volkswagen Beetle? Yeah, the Volkswagen Beetle. Okay, you remember the old one? Yes. And there's a new one. It's not new anymore, but you know, there are two generations. Now, Volkswagen in the States in the 60s, when they introduced the old one, was a huge success. Huge success. And the reason for the huge success at that time was because most of the American cars were, you know, cheap. You know, they were huge. They were cheap. You know, it's like a spaceship, not like meh ship. They were huge. They were consuming so much gas. They were consuming so much parking place. So what they did to promote the Volkswagen, the Beetle, they took these full-page ads in the biggest magazines and papers and left it empty, totally empty. At the bottom of the ad, they would put the little Volkswagen, and they would say, "Small is beautiful." That's how they sold it. So they used a lot of promotion for that, a lot of advertisement. That's not remarkable. That's just putting a lot of budget on that. But 30, 40 years later, when they started with the new Volkswagen, they didn't do any advertisements whatsoever. What they did is they took, I think, don't catch me on the number, but they took 1,000 of those Beetles, and they spread them around the areas of where the target audience will be. They just let drivers drive them. And people would go and say, "I want that." And that's how they sold it in the States. It became a huge success just by spreading enough of those, people looking and saying, "I want that." Because what is remarkable in the Volkswagen, the new Volkswagen, is what? It's the design. This is what is remarkable about that car. That car is not necessarily better than other car. The design is different, is better, is remarkable for their target audience. Take another car, which has, again, a remarkable design and some other features. It's called the Hummer. Anybody heard about the Hummer? Anybody owns a Hummer? Anybody wants to own a Hummer? So, some of them. Hummer is based, as much as I know, on a tank. It's pretty much a tank. And it drinks petrol like a tank, it takes space like a tank and everything. Now, it doesn't fit for everyone. I drive a Prius. So I'm not the target audience for a Hummer. But those people that the target audience is a Hummer, as soon as they see this big yellow beast, or whatever color they paint them, they just say, "I need to own a piece of this thing." Okay, I just need to own. It's a remarkable product. People talk about it. Good, bad, doesn't matter. They talk about it, and people buy it like crazy. The right people. You know, for me, it's important to save a little bit of the environment, so they are not talking to me. But for those people that this is not their concern, but their concern is something else, this is a great car for them. Does that make sense? It's always remarkable. It's always to the target audience. Remember that, always to the target audience. This is the most important when it comes to remarkable. I'll give you a couple of more examples. But what I'm trying to mention here is that if you have a remarkable product, people will always either love it or hate it. There is no remarkable product that people are in between. There are no people that are in between. I'm not sure about a Hummer. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll buy it next year. Either you like it or you hate it. Same thing about Harley Davidson. Either you love it or you hate it. Nobody's in between. I'm undecisive about Harley. You can be undecisive about Honda and Suzuki and Yamaha and all those, because there's nothing special. You cannot be undecisive about Harley. Either you like it or you hate it. Does that make sense? This is, you might not know it here in Holland, but for many, many years in the world there was, you know, the pleisters, when you get cut and you need to put a pleister, all the pleisters looked the same. They were all skin color, right? Skin color. Most of them, by the way, this skin color. Not your skin color, right? It was this skin color, which is pretty stupid when you think about it, but that's what they had. And the company that controlled 90-something% of the market all over the world was BandAid. BandAid is not a name of a product, it's a name of a company, okay? It's not a name, it's not a generic name, it became generic because they were so big and so successful. At one point, not so long ago, came a small young company, decided to create pleisters, but they focused on a very specific target audience. They didn't want to go for everyone like BandAid did. They wanted to focus on kids, on children, because children tend to fall a lot. And one of the things that really relaxes kids is when you give them a pleister, right? A kiss and a pleister works perfectly. Doesn't matter what they have. How many of you parents? You know what I'm talking about? At a certain age, that works, right? So they say, this is my target audience, then why giving them a skin color? Let's make it cartoons. So at the beginning, they started with stupid cartoons, and later I think they made all kinds of agreements with Walt Disney and some other stuff, you know, to have those cartoons there. Kids loved it. Kids loved it. So kids insisted on having that. So then there's this kid that fell yesterday. His father put the plaster on him. Now it's okay? Yes, okay. So he goes to school. All the kids see this plaster. They go home, they start getting epileptic. They all fall down all the time. So the parents is coming, shh, it's okay, no, I need a plaster. So they go to the medicine cabinet, taking the BandAid, putting this skin color, and the kids keep on crying. What, didn't work? No, it doesn't. You know, the only thing that will take the owie away is Mickey Mouse on a... And kids of 3 and 4 years old send their parents one after another to the drugstore to buy Curad. The name of the company is Curad. You might not know it, but they took all the kids' market from BandAid within a few months, less than a year. They took all the kids' market, which is the biggest market for BandAid. Just by becoming remarkable for their target audience. And their target audience talk. And they talk, and they talk. And they're insisting. Kids are very good in that. Would you agree? Yes. Is that making sense? Yes. Great. Guys, I gave you a little bit of theory. I want you to start brainstorming how can you make your product more remarkable. I'll give you a few tools that you can do. One thing that you can change is the design or the way that it looks. Okay, your product or service. The second thing you can change is the functionality, how your product is doing things differently. Okay, differently. For example, we had a software so far that will run our whole operation, everything. And we just got now new software. They just started trying it and everything. But what they created for me is they created an iPad app that worked so far, where I can communicate with my team in the back, tell them the room is too hot. Instead of telling them, hey, Miriam, come here, or tell her, I just click a button because we have pre-prepared of those. The room is too hot. She gets an SMS, and she can do something about that. Okay, so they changed some of the functionality of the things we're doing. It's a testing. It's the first time we're doing. They change the functionality, it becomes remarkable by that. Do you understand? So maybe something you can do with that. And the easiest thing for most of you to change in your product to make it remarkable is change the experience of people. Okay? We took the concept of a training with the PowerPoint with the 17 points and the boring speaker that is speaking there and all this, and we try to change it into something that is energetic, that is fast, that is giving you a lot of more value in a fun way, dancing a little bit, giving you a little bit of a stretching, whatever it is, to make it different experience. Okay, and we do that in all the trainings, changing the experience. If you could, like the Harley Davidson, changing the experience. Does that make sense?